Hi everyone, the small engine mechanic here. Today we're going to be servicing the engine on an Encore Rage mower with a Kawasaki FS600v engine. First, we will need to remove the muffler guard. Then we can swing it out of the way. Then we'll remove both spark plugs. Next, the valve covers will come off. Put some oil-absorbent pads down to control any oil that leaks out. Then using a 10mm socket, remove all the valve cover bolts. Using a wrench, tap the covers and they will come right off. You can discard the old valve cover gaskets. Now, we are removing the cover so we can rotate the engine. On the number 1 cylinder, we need this intake valve to go in, and when it comes back out we'll insert an extension in the spark plug hole. That's the exhaust valve. Now the intake. Continue rotating the engine until the extension gets pushed out and it can't go out any further. Now using a 5/1000th feeler gauge, place it between the rocker and valve. It should have some resistance when trying to slide it back and forth. The intake is good. The exhaust is too tight and will need to be adjusted. So, using a 10mm wrench, loosen the nut, and adjust the bolt side to get the gap right where there is some resistance. Then tighten the nut back up. And do the same on the other side. The intake is way too open, and the exhaust feels good. So we need to close the gap on the intake valve. The nut on this cylinder is on the bottom side, and it's the same procedure as the other cylinder. Now we will be installing new valve cover gaskets part number 11061-1285. Using a bolt to help hold the gasket. Thread all the bolts in by hand, then tighten them all down. Make sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell to be notified of more tips and how-to videos. It's the same on the opposite cylinder. Now install the new NGK PR5ES spark plugs. And tighten them down. Wipe up any oil. Now we will replace the air filter. Remove the cover. Loosen up the clamp and discard the old filter. We will be installing the pre-filter part number 11013-7046 and the air filter part number 11013-0752. Install the pre-filter onto the air filter and reinstall it in the machine. Then replace the cover. Now we are ready to heat the oil. I will be using a siphon pump to extract the oil. You can also use the oil drain on the engine. Now, loosen the oil filter. Place an oil-absorbent pad under it. Then remove the filter. We will be installing part number 49065-0721. Always put a film of new oil on the filter seal. Then install the filter. Using Kawasaki 10W30 oil, we're going to add 2 quarts to the engine. On Kawasaki engines, it's important to know that you do not thread the dipstick back in when checking the level. Even says so on the stick. The level is a little high for now. So let's run the engine so the oil will fill in the filter. The oil level is perfect. Now replace the guard. And the muffler guard. Being sure to start everything by hand. The fuel filter is next. We will be using part number 49019-0013. Remove both clamps, then remove the filter from the hoses. These filters are directional. The flow is from the tank to the pump. And with that, the engine service is completed. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. And until the next one.
It looks like another one is good to go.